Hello, all. It's Kenna Kosman, publisher of Madison's Lumber Reporter. I'm going to try to talk fast but still be understandable as there's a lot to go over. We have U.S. new home sales and house prices came out last week. I've been looking forward to this data since 1 month ago. You may have watched my housing starts and permits video from a couple of weeks ago. Gives you a really good idea of what's happening with the housing market and based on lumber prices. Big change now since then. At that time, prices were falling, but now they've fallen quite a bit, and it's kind of weird to say, you know, price of lumber is down by whatever 40% from a month ago, but it's still $900, which is 3 times what it was for the past 10 years, right? People who do finance and who do numbers, and they say they consider the lumber in a bubble because the price is 5x, and anytime the price goes 5x, it's a bubble. But this is lumber. This is not oil. This is a tightly traded commodity that is indispensable. Like, people need wood for so many things, not just for home building. It's too many things that only wood can do. So when I talk to those people who keep trying to say that we're in a bubble, it's not a bubble. We're not in a bubble. We're in a shift. If this 5x increase in the price of lumber had happened over the 10 years in increments, which would be normal, nobody would be talking about that right now, right? So in 2011, when lumber prices was $250, if it went up by 15% per year or 2 years between then and now, the price that we're having right now would not be dramatic. Okay, it happened in 1 year. Part of it was going to happen anyway, even without the COVID changes to society, but it just happened in 1 year, and everybody knew that 2x4s were not going to stay at 1,600. Like, that's not feasible. But 900 is looking possible. As I've said before, in third and fourth quarter last year, October, November, when prices were flattening off a little bit, and people were asking me, you know, what do you think? Where do you think it's going to? And I only ever answer this anecdotally because no one can ever know. And I said, I think it's going to end up somewhere between 600 and 800, probably closer to 600. Now, the reason that I said that is because we want volumes to come on, and it's extremely difficult to predict where the price is going to go at a time when the volumes are so low, right? Like I just said in the video I posted yesterday, prices got super high, but sales volumes were not that good, right? So this equilibrium is being reached now where prices are moderating down still to really very high, but sales volumes are also improving. It looks like we're heading into a more of an uptick now. The past couple of months slowed down a lot as the customers pushed back against the high prices that the sawmills were charging. And as this like volume buying comes back on, if the price stays at 900, that's very good for the sawmill lumber producers. So let's go to the graphs, but just the data itself. Home sales in the U.S. were not up in May compared to April, but they were up a lot compared to May 2020. And this time, I'm not looking as closely at the volume of home sales as I'm looking at the price. The situation that we had earlier this year where the volumes of homes for sale dropped so low that bidding kind of got into like a bidding war situation, makes it difficult to assert like what is actually happening with the market. It's kind of similar to what's going on with lumber, where it's like the prices are so high, but the volumes are not that good, right? So the lack of homes for sale could be accounted for home prices going up. It's not an easy way to gauge whether that's going to continue or it's just like a 1 month thing, right? And so while the amount of new home sales decreased, the inventory of homes for sale increased, but the price still went up. so people can figure out what they think that means for themselves. What it means to me is there is still a strong desire to buy, which could potentially keep the new home building market going for a while. So back to the graphs I like to do, U.S. new home sales against the lumber prices, construction framing, 2x4 prices, western spruce, eastern spruce, and southern pine. The black line is the home sales. You can see how it correlates with the lumber prices, although it does come out like 6 weeks later. Anyway, so May of 2021, U.S. new homes sold was 330,000 compared to 315,000 in April of 2021. Looking a little bit closer here on the blue line, which is this year, the flat part there, the 4 data points that are basically even, that's May. And then there's quite a big drop in June. So the price of lumber fell 44% from $1,618 per thousand board feet in May to $900 last week, just at the end of June there. Will be interesting to see what happens with housing in June, which comes out in July. So here is the new home prices and the lumber prices. The black line being home prices, which were the median price of a new home in May was $374,400 compared to $372,400 in April, and compared to $290,000 in December. So between December and May, U.S. new home prices increased by 22.5%. Meanwhile, here we have lumber again for June, dropped quite a bit, as I said. I don't know if that'll affect home prices directly, potentially 3 months down the line in the future, but it will help increase lumber sales for new home building now that prices aren't so high anymore. Great. What does this all mean? What does it mean? It means there is potentially a sort of unseasonal momentum to new home buying, which pushes activity into existing home buying, all of which pushes activity into new home building. The time of year where it normally wouldn't necessarily be happening, September, October, could be continuation of last year, where we saw really unrelenting home selling and building. Looks like we had a little bit of a lull just now, and a lot of that lull, especially in lumber, but looks that way for real estate also, was sort of like a wait and see. Where's the price going to land? Like I said in my previous video, this dual Canada Day, Independence Day long weekend usually signals how things are going to be. So I'll be coming back in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, anyone who really wants to know what's happening exactly with the lumber market, we cover 450 individual softwood lumber and panel prices every Friday, and the market commentary of the things that I talk about, you know, the order files and inventory, log supply, transportation, all of these things. Just subscribe. On my website, madisonsreport.com, there's a link in my caption. Fill out the form, and we'll sign you up to receive the data straight to your desktop every Friday morning. Right now, please everyone have a safe and enjoyable long weekend here in Vancouver and British Columbia's epic heat wave, heat dome, they're calling it, something that I never knew existed. And we'll be back in July to give you what is happening in July.